I chose for like a fall Thanksgiving wine. It's made by Foxen. It's a white wine. It's called, the grape is Chenin Blanc. So Foxen is made right up the street from where we're talking right now, right up in Santa Barbara. One of my favorite regions of wine in the world. I think they're making just one of the most underrated wine regions, period.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So yeah, so Chenin Blanc originated in France. This is essentially going to be, when you look at like a really light and crisp grape and you look at like something full, buttery and oaky, this is kind of somewhere in the middle. So when I was talking about, like I said, that really big warm embrace or something light and crisp, this is kind of in that medium range. So you can go fuller or you can go lighter, but I definitely think this is a wine that not only complements the food, but is absolutely delicious on its own. So coming from, I want to say about like 40-year-old vines here up in Santa Barbara. It's
and these are 40-year-old vine. Is that considered an old vine or is that considered a young vine?
So on the bottle that this wine is coming from, it actually says old vines. That is a completely relative term. And that term is based on, like, if you go to France, it's different than when you go to the United States. So here in the United States, old vines might be, 40 years, 30 years old. Hell, even like maybe even 20 years old in some places. But in France, you have vines that are 100 years old, 80 years old.
Right.
And how are they, how do they last that long? A lot are grafted, regrafted, the stock roots are basically, the roots stay, but they just keep switching on the little part that grows out the actual grapes, if you will.
Got it.
But yeah, so this is, like I said, this is a wine that can be served with food, without food. And again, just a really complimentary wine all across the board. So.
All right. So what are you, when you talk about the nose and you smell your wine, what are you hoping to accomplish with just getting an idea of the flavor you're about to taste?
Yeah, if I had to make a comparison, this is like hearing the engine rev, right? You want to hear, you want to see what the muscles are going to do. You want to see what this bad boy is going to kind of do, and not necessarily feel it, but you just want to get a sense for it. So it's kind of like revving the engine. So you're just getting like a sense of like, oh, okay. So, I mean, as far as like tasting notes, I'm one of these sommeliers that refrains or tries to refrain from tasting notes just because what I taste is not exactly what everybody else tastes. And that's all subjective
Listen, I don't know how they make up these things. These descriptions that they come up with, like it has, a taste of tobacco and charcoal and, fava beans. And I'm all like, what?
Right.
Tastes like wine.
Yeah, no. But I mean, if I did have to describe the wine, it's kind of like you start off with fruit. And then you want to start off with citrus fruit. So this is lemon. This is like, and not only lemon, it's kind of like lemon curd. It's kind of like lemon meringue almost.
Lemon meringue. Yeah.
It's funny. This wine actually kind of smells like banana runts. Have you ever had like runts?
Oh my god.
It's kind of like that, like banana run. I know that's a very like specific thing, but see, that's how subjective shit gets. That is.
I don't know how close you guys are. I don't know what banana runts are.
Oh,
banana runts.
It's a ridiculous candy, but yeah, it's a candy. But yeah, as you're smelling, it has like a nice chalkiness to the wine though.
Yeah.
This kind of nice rocky minerality that's going on.
Okay.
But yeah, even when you smell it, there isn't any butter used in the wine but this wine is seen as a malolactic fermentation that kind of like rounds off a wine. And this kind of has that. And you can kind of smell a little bit of that warmth.
I'm gonna taste that.
See what you think.
It's really a nice finish. Yeah. It's really, my first thing is where I taste it on my tongue, front, back, things like that. So it kind of hits me towards the front. kind of get a little, like a little tingle, like a freshness, when you get like even like citrusy, you get that little freshness, and then has a very smooth kind of finish. You said butter, and this is a different butter than I would say like Chardonnay butter is, right? This is it's lighter. I think it's not so creamy, which is great, because sometimes that's overwhelming to me.
Yeah. And, when people talk about like Chardonnay or butter yoki Chardonnay, that is what I would say is like a heavy wine, right? When you drink it, you're like, when you swallow it, you're like, wow, like you actually want to say like, whoa, that was a lot.
Right.
Like you said, this wine, when you swallowed it, you're like, that was really balanced. That was really easy going. And again, this is a wine that will, if you have it with food, it'll kind of like lift up the food. But again, this is a great like appetizer wine too. It kind of like that acidity that you feel right here.
Right.
That acidity makes you hungry. Acidity makes you want food. And so a wine like this is really perfect because it's got that body, it's got that lift that'll like carry you through the meal, but it's also got that nice acid.
I can see how it, like when you're eating mashed potatoes and turkey and gravy and those kind of things, which are kind of rich, and this doesn't make you more full from drinking it. You can go, oh, this is kind of light and refreshing. And then it does clean your, you've got that palate cleanse afterwards. So you can go, oh, I'm ready for another bite, or I can try something else, the green beans and the bacon or whatever it is. I'm just telling you what I'm having Thanksgiving.
No. And it's great too, because in a white wine, again, not everybody likes white wine. But just talking about this particular white wine, it doesn't have, white wine doesn't have those tannins that kind of like attack a food or can attack your mouth. And so again, this is really easy drinking. And this is just like, okay, great. I can take a bite of food, relax, drink. And now I feel like I can, I'm reset again. So yeah,
and
very neutral wine.
To me, being pretty inexperienced too, in my head, I'm going, all right, yeah, like reds that's like what you drink when it's cold outside, and that's what but this is exactly what I want to drink at Thanksgiving now. This is, you know what I mean? And
especially like, if you think about like like we're here in California, like a warmer Thanksgiving, right?
Sure.
To the point where we could actually theoretically eat, my family kind of eats Thanksgiving lunch kind of thing. We don't do a dinner. And we'll kind of eat at like 2:00 and we'll eat outside.
Oh, cool.
This to me is like one of those perfect wines where you're out on the patio, it's a beautiful day. Again, it's fall, but it's not winter, and it's not, it's not too taxing. So,
right.
It's great.
Nice.
So
nice choice.
And I should also say that just Foxen, husband and wife couple, making wines up in Santa Barbara since 1985.
Oh, wow.
If you've never been up there, definitely, I'd highly encourage anybody to go up to Santa Barbara. It's really great. So
and so, what was the cost range of a wine like this?
Something like this, I think is incredible steal. I think I paid about $24, $25. So as far as quality of the wine and that kind of thing, I think this is an absolute steal. To me, this drinks, above $30.
Great.
So
great. That sounds affordable for ours.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at a restaurant, like comparatively speaking, if you're drinking this wine at a restaurant, you're paying about $90. So
wow.
Yeah. So if you're buying it at, I bought the 2 wines today at Whole Foods. So they should probably be in most retailers, most at your local Whole Foods, if you will. So
right.
Yeah.
Ours is about to open up. I think we just have a brand new Whole Foods from the office, just opening up. Yeah. So now we can go down there.
All right. So
awesome.
So moving on, wine number 2. Wine number 2 is, who doesn't love rosé? And I say that kind of sarcastically because a lot of people kind of like roll their eyes and they're like, oh man, rosé is not that serious. It's not that. Rosé is fun. I love rosé because, again, it's just nobody ever says, so what do you think about rosé? Like it's good or not. That's it. And that's what I love about it, because it levels the playing field for everybody. So this is actually a rosé that I picked up. I want to say this is like $15. at Whole Foods, made as a collaboration project between two winemakers up in Washington State. It's going to be a blend of Sangiovese and Syrah. And again, I think that just in California, Washington, Oregon, there's this whole revolution in the last 25 years of rolling back alcohol, rolling back all of the things that are influencing a wine that is man-made. So people are trying to have, I don't want to say clean wine because now that's a whole nother category of wine, but people are trying to be low interventionalists. You know, they're trying to make as little between what is coming from the vineyard and in the bottle. And I think this is a really, really great example of just really kick-ass serious Syrah that's, again, $15. Wow. So, yeah, this is, again, a really great wine that will cover you, will take you from start to finish. It's light and crisp initially, but it finishes really well balanced. And the reason why I actually bought this wine, and for your viewers, I bought this, is because of a question I get a lot. Is it stupid to buy a wine based on the label? No, it's not. Because my thought is, well, if they put thought into the bottle, I really hope they put more thought into what's going inside. And so Sean, if you have the bottle, if you could please display that bottle. I'm a huge fan of this.
The homage to Quentin.
That's right.
No.
So the wine is called "And Why Am I Mr. Pink?" So a little homage from Reservoir Dogs, from Steve Buscemi's character.
Yep.
I love the name. Again, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Reservoir Dogs! I'm getting it." So to me, as a consumer, I was like, "I'm getting that wine because it's cool." And I'd never tasted it before, so we're gonna do it together. So
cool.
I completely bought this on, you know, I looked at the alcohol. I was like, okay, the alcohol seems like it's going to hold
in
up.
Line, right?
So here we go.
All right.
Let's see.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, man. Not much thinking involved. It's delicious. I mean, like, it's good. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, well, you know, what vintage is this? And what, you know, what kind of grape? Like, this is, serve me, again, turkey, cranberries, like all of the things. This is a wine that's, again, going to take you from start to finish. And then you can even have a bottle for dessert.
Yeah. So. I can see that. It's really fun. Yeah, it's really fun. It's great. Now I notice it's not like, you know, you can, you know, rosé. It's not real. It's got a light color to it, so not sitting on the skins a long time, or you know, it just, you know, it looks very delicate, you know, in the glass. And I could see, you know, on a holiday serving with lots of people in that color, you know, what a really nice visual that it makes also, you know. It's very
Absolutely.
pretty.
No, completely. And again, this is a little bit heavier as far as like, it's still actually relatively crisp for rosé, but it does have a little bit more weight. That skin coming in contact with the juice has a little bit more, you know, a little bit more oomph to it.
And that's I don't know if I've tasted a lot of rosés from a Syrah. You know, Pinot based, you know, I'm very familiar with, and I know there's a lot of blending with rosés and stuff like that. So this is interesting to me, because I personally like rosés. Summer comes around, and I want a wine that I can drink during the day, and you know, that just really allows me to enjoy the day and not, you know, overpower me, like where I got to go immediately take a nap.
Right.
You know, it's one of my favorite, you know, wines to go to. And so to see it now kind of coming into a different season and stuff like that, I think is interesting, because you used to see it, summer was coming, and then all of a sudden, you know, rosés appear on the shelf, and this is a little after now summer is gone, and so a nice use for it.
Yeah, and I definitely think that rosé used to be an afterthought. Rosé just used to be with, let's make it with whatever's laying around. Now you see really concentrated efforts of making good rosé. Where rosé, like the birthplace or the home of rosé, is in the French Riviera, down in Provence in France there.
Right.
And there, it's very close to the south part of Rhone, and right there in Rhone, they use what are called GSM blends. So GSM stands for, it's an acronym for Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. Mourvedre, these three grapes are very similar, and they get along the same way Cabernet, Cab Franc, and Merlot do in Bordeaux. They're the best of friends. They all kind of bring something different to the party. And so there's a lot to be, Syrah has a lot of reputation, a huge history in making rosé. And I think that now here in the States, it's kind of, again, now it's more serious. Now people are taking this seriously instead of just like this afterthought. And I think, again, when you drink this, being that it's a $15 bottle of wine from the US,
yeah,
I think that's pretty insane.
Why not get 3?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, these were 2 wines that I picked up that are, again, very approachable in all matters of, financially, what you're committing to. They're delicious. I will say I don't have a red wine. Now, I just didn't see anything that I wanted to kind of invest in. Having said that, I do have some recommendations. Like Beaujolais, Beaujolais Village. These are wines, again, sold at Trader Joe's, small wine shops, that kind of thing. Beaujolais is a wine that comes from France. The grape that's made from it is called Gamay. Gamay is very similar to Pinot Noir. It's a very light red wine, light tannins, high acid. And so those are the kind of wines that kind of play really well with this kind of food. So, yeah, Pinot Noirs from Central Coast, Sonoma County, all day with Thanksgiving.
With Thanksgiving, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Some of my favorites, like Failla. I love Failla, or up in Santa Barbara again, Drake at Whitcraft. Whitcraft makes some incredible wines. So, yeah.
All you out there, write those names down, because I think you're going to.
We'll put a little link in the comments below to everything that you kind of talked about. I think that was pretty damn fun, I got to say. That was one of my favorite interview, whatever that we've done, Jamie. That was great.
Yeah, I think, and I know you. I don't want to take too much of your time. What should they stay away from?
Nothing. Nothing. And I mean that in true, like, genuine feeling. I mean, the thing is, the world of wine is so complex, and so, like, don't try and go to the wine person and say, I really want to make this awesome killer pairing and blah, blah, blah. And then maybe you don't even like that wine. Maybe you don't even like that grape. So I just say, drink what you like. Drink what you're comfortable with. Bring a bottle to people that drink wine, and then you'll drink their wine. And then now you have something to go off of. But drink whatever you're comfortable with. Don't stay with something you want to try. Some safe things: bubbles, prosecco, champagne, all day. But yeah, I mean, as far as staying away, I mean, I wouldn't recommend drinking, a Malbec or a Cabernet with your turkey. But again, if that's going to make you happy, be happy.
Right.